Good afternoon, and welcome to this week's Fredericksburg Standard-Radio Post news broadcast. Last week's kind of blew up a little bit, which I don't think either of us expected. Obviously, it was in regard to the elections administrator, Anissa Herrera, and the election staff in Gillespie County all resigning due to alleged threats. And so I just want to let everyone know we are still following that story. We have heard hearsay about a lawsuit. We've heard some hearsay about that there were no death threats. So I know our publisher has filed a Freedom of Information request for documentation on those threats. And Brent and I are going to go up to the courthouse probably today to see if we can find some documentation on the lawsuit. So I just want to let everyone know that that was just the first story, just to let everyone know what was going on. And we are going to continue to follow it as it develops. But a little bit, you got a little bit of reporter clout last week.
Yeah, and a lot of feedback from people who knew me from Fort Worth and San Antonio and Dallas, and it turned into a storm because of it hits the political climate at a timing where it's kind of a hot topic right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, so we'll definitely continue following that. And on some other political news, Democratic governor candidate Beto O'Rourke stopped into town yesterday. I got to go out and photo that and ask some people some questions. So that'll be kind of a story in this week's newspaper coming up, and it'll be a video as well. I shot some B-roll and shot my interview via video. So I'll make a small little video that y'all can look out for. And so that'll be published probably next Wednesday. Next thing I want to talk about, some city news. The Fredericksburg City Council rejected both requests for proposals for the Hotel Conference Center project. They had two applicants that they brought in for presentation. One was called the Artisans, and one was, I can't remember the name at this time. But both of them had really interesting presentations, and that was back in July. And DC Partners was the name.
There it is.
And they had both had good presentations. I think the majority of the council decision, besides Bobby Watson and Sharon Joseph, was that it's just not a project that was needed at this time. That doesn't meet the necessary issues that they're trying to work on right now. So full story in the newspaper at the top of the paper this week. So take a look out for that. Next thing I want to talk about is back to school. You got to shoot some back to school photos of St. Mary's. So
I was at St. Mary's, and I guess you were at Fredericksburg, and it was really an experience seeing these families drop off the kiddos. Some of them excited to return to a follow-up year, and some of them are their first year, and they have the wide deer in the headlights look, what am I doing, and saw some emotion. It's a pretty neat morning to check out.
Yeah, you had a really cute photo on the front page of one of those wide-eyed kids.
They make it easy when they're cute like that.
Like, what are you giving up? So that we got some photos on D1 from that. We have a story on the front page about back-to-school enrollment numbers. And actually, FISD saw some growth in their numbers. They got up to over 3,100 students. First time they've done that in a few years. I know they had they fell off a little bit during the COVID pandemic, but it looks like they're starting to rise again. So some other schools saw some growth as well. Harper continued to see growth, and so did Heritage. And then Ambleside and Doss have not reported their first day numbers yet, since they have not had their first day yet. Doss will be going back to school, I believe, next week, and then Ambleside goes back to school after the fair on the 30th of August. So we'll have another story about enrollment totals after Labor Day weekend, so keep a lookout for that. That'll be more set-in-stone numbers. Obviously, things change throughout the year. People come in and out, people move, but that'll be kind of a more set-in-stone hard number. Next thing I want to talk about is your free tax story. Lone Star Bar and Grill kind of moved over. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the things, by the way, I love about small town community journalism is we get to have a political hot topic one week and then talk about cool restaurants all at the same time. But a lot of folks here in the area were, big fans of what was known as Lone Star Grill out on the west side of town. And that business shut down a month or two ago and left a lot of folks wondering, like, oh, where are we going to hang out now? So the owner and operator of that restaurant, Amy Freitag, I want to pronounce her name right, yeah. She relocated out in Stonewall and is operating her food truck out there under Freitag's backyard. And she has all the same stuff on her menu, and she had some good stuff on her menu. Her ingredient that makes her food amazing is simple and awesome, and it's grease.
Nice.
And it is good food. So anybody who is a fan of the menu at Lone Star, get out there to Freitag's backyard and give her some business. She's out there having a good time. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Next thing I want to talk about is sports. We'll start with Fredericksburg football. You got to do your first football story.
I did, yeah. Our former sports editor, Reed Graff, took me out to mentor me at how to stand on the sidelines and not get in trouble. And I've got this steep learning curve when it comes to football especially. But we got out there and observed Fredericksburg High School scrimmage against Navarro. And, there were some really good things about it, and there were some things that looked like, well, yeah, that needs some work. There were a lot of turnovers that we observed, both in passing and fumble. And it seems like something that they're going to have to work on, maybe ball protection. But we talked to Coach Wilder after the game, and he had a real positive view of it all. He said that defense especially was really hitting their assignments very well, and that Navarro is a tough team. And he felt pretty positive about what he was seeing from the players. So we'll see how it goes from here.
Good deal. Yeah. So that is starts on page AB 12 of this week's newspaper, and Christine Granados is doing our sports right now. She's doing a great job. There was a lot that happened this week. There was Harper football. They started their season out with a scrimmage. Heritage volleyball got some first early on wins, and so did Harper volleyball. So they're both doing very well, as is Fredericksburg Billy's volleyball. So that's all starting to kick up. And I got some cool photos of the Heritage football scrimmage, midnight scrimmage on Friday. And so that's on page AB 14. And so, so check out some great sports coverage this week. And for next week, there's a lot more going on. Fredericksburg plays Lago Vista in a scrimmage.
Picking up quick.
Yeah, this afternoon. So fall sports is underway. We got a fall sports tab coming out soon. So look out for that as well. Last thing I want to talk about is our Salute Law Enforcement tab that came out in this week's newspaper. It kind of covers everything law enforcement, from fire departments, volunteer fire departments, to the police departments and sheriff's office. And it's also got some information about a few legacy firefighters who've been doing this for a long time with the volunteer fire departments and with other agencies. That was a cool, neat thing to be able to sit down with Paul Hahnemann and Glenn Priest and Steve Ulfers to hear their story. Steve Ulfers was a little bit, he was like, I really want the focus to be on Glenn and Paul, because they got some legacy awards earlier this year. But I was like, no. Everyone knows you. You're going to get featured. Like, people want to hear about you too. So
I want to step in and brag on you and the photo for that lockout, because Sam took a beautiful photo for it that I think kind of captures what, I mean, unfortunately a lot of 2022 is going to be remembered for, which is these fires. Mm-hmm. But you got a beautiful photo that I think really emphasizes, the hard work that our local firefighters put in, to keep us safe in this really difficult year. So
I appreciate it, and we appreciate them doing everything that they do every single time we get a 100+ acre wildfire. They're there and covering and stopping everything. So if you see a firefighter, like I've said in the last, I think 3 broadcasts, just give them a pat on the back, because they deserve it. Mm-hmm. I think that's it for us.
Yeah.
It's me and Brent Burgess, just giving you the news today. So thank you so much for watching. Again, this has been the August 18th edition of the Fredericksburg Standard-Radio Post news broadcast.
Yep. Here we go.
Thank you so much.